become a cybersecurity professional in 2 hours or 3 hours. It's actually a journey of months. So, Mr. Rombuskela, you want to say something to them?
Yes, I can. First of all, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for having me this evening. Wherever you're located in the world, you're in Nigeria. I'm not in Nigeria. I'm actually overseas in Israel currently. Us, it's a little bit later. And I'd like to first say that Think Cyber International and Think Cyber Nigeria, in partnership with Babcock University, Babcock Business School, and Babcock School of Computing, brings Africa's first cyber simulator powered training to Nigeria. This world-class real-life scenario cybersecurity training offers immersive real-world experience and red carpet access to mid-level entry-level cybersecurity jobs within the tech space in Africa and in Nigeria. We, together with ICOM and Think Cyber Nigeria, are bringing our training, our unique training, to Africa, to the continent of Africa, and especially to Nigeria. And we feel, and we're honored to be able to do this partnership and to be able to offer this to the alumni. I like to say in opening that one thing I'm very happy is that I'm sure Icon will get into this, and I always say this in the beginning, and he asked me the questions later. But one of the things I'm really happy is I've been updated that all of our trainings around the world, and we have quite a few of them, we're at between 95 and 100% of full employment. And this makes me very, very excited. And that's one of the reasons I'm here. ICOM is the training, ICOM runs Think Cyber Nigeria, but I'm happy when all of our people that are trained get positions and get jobs, because that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me do my job, and that's what makes me happy. And that's why I'm really happy to be here. So first of all, thank you very much for having me here. I'm glad to meet all of you. And if there's any questions, I'd love to be able to try to give them the best answer I can.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So guys, fasten your seatbelt. This session will be broken down into 4 different sessions. The first part is the interview with Mr. Rombuskela. The second part is the interview with our alumni who is currently working. We have one interview with him. Now, that session actually brings in the pre, during, and post Think Cyber experience. You hear from the horse's mouth. We brought in somebody who schooled abroad, who did his MSc abroad. He was a masterclass student. I think he was in South Africa when we actually pitched him, and when he came back, he was coming back to Nigeria, joined in the training. I think he read data science. He did data science. I can't remember. He does a lot of data science before he now moved into cybersecurity. So he was one of the best graduating students during his set, and it worked with one of the biggest MSSP. MSSP meaning Managed Security Service Provider all over Africa. We don't mention name of brands on this platform, all over Africa. So he will be doing his thing. He can talk about the company he's working for by himself. We'll be interviewing him. The next part will be talking to Press PNG, which is our finance partner. Then I'll now do a detailed presentation of Think Cyber Simulator. Some people ask for a sneak peek. I'll give you a sneak peek. I'll give you some penetration testing jives. That's just to show you what you should be able to deliver when you are actually part of this training. For those who are just coming in, you are welcome. Please fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be an interesting journey. We're now talking to a team of people who are currently doing something like one form of tech or the other. We're not addressing guys who are just coming out of school. I think they need a convincing assurance that this new tech space is actually a fast pace and you can actually leverage opportunity across the globe. Think Cyber is actually in Nigeria, they're in Israel, they're in Schengen, they're in Singapore, they're in India, and rated the best real-life simulator training in India, real-life simulator training in Israel. So I'll start with some questions or session with Rombuskela just for you to understand what the simulator training is all about. Now, what is our unique selling point? Why we are the best? Why we are one of the best in the market? And why is it that within 10 months, you could actually be a professional within 3 tracks: penetration testing, SOC analysis, that's incident response, threat hunting, and Windows forensics. Those are major areas where the country is actually looking for people, you understand, to actually fill up spaces. If you are here last week, one of the guys you brought in from the bank, he just said some kind of people just left the bank. That means there's another space. There's always a motion and a movement in this industry because the spaces will never be filled up. Why? Because quality training are scarce, and you can see it's a little bit costly, but in terms of return on investment over a lifetime is worth the while. So I'll start with the first question. What is this Think Cyber training, Mr. Ron, and why is it different from other cybersecurity training programs?
Okay, I'll first say with 3 words, and then I'll explain. Scenarios, scenarios, scenarios. What do I mean? The most important part about, especially when I explained it always with the aspect of when you're training and you want to get a job, because basically that's what we're all here for. Everybody's here for to train, to learn, and to get a job. That's what we're here for. That's what we all do. And scenarios, when you go and you're looking for a specific position, people want to know that you have experience. Now, if you don't have any experience, what do? If you train with us, you do scenarios, real life scenarios, things that are happening today, attacks that are happening today. So when you go to interviews and when you go to speak, you're actually doing things that are happening today. When they talk to you and you mention 1 or 2 scenarios, or they ask you, they're amazed. They're like, how do you know this information? You don't have 5, 10, 15 years of experience. And that's what sets us apart. We are real world. We are not book world. We are real world. We have to say what is happening in the world today and why. And one of the major things is where Think Cyber is located in the world. Unfortunately, we're located in Israel, which has a few neighbors which not exactly like us that much. And for that reason, we get over 15 to 20 times more cyber attacks than the rest of the world. So we have to be the best. We have to be the best. All of our trainers work in the industry. They're not students. They're not teachers that sit and wait for them to be taught. They're all working in the industry. They anywhere from government to private to Secret Service to etc. So we always know what is at the forefront. We always know what is happening now. So when you do need to know something, you don't know what happened 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago. You know what's happening now, and you know what's happening forward. We have to be in the forefront. That's what makes us different.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ron, for that particular quick answer. I think we should do it this way today. So as you're talking, let me just show them what real life scenario looks like before we move to the next question. On the simulator. Okay. If you look towards this place, so the guys, this is what our simulator looks like. The students currently doing penetration testing. If you look towards this side, you see that this Spectre real-time scenario. You notice it was disabled. Spectre is disabled by trainer. Now, because the audience we have, they actually went back to school. So we don't want them to get, now this particular scenario is up and running, it's real live. So it pops up. Even now, we keep upgrading. Think Cyber keeps upgrading. Think Cyber keeps upgrading. Now, this is Spectre, all these things. And one of the reasons why we actually disabled it was a virus. Now, that legal agreement has to be signed that within your containerized environment, you contain the virus because you deal with real viruses. Now, from attacks, real attacks across the globe. So as you can see, that is why when we say we bring experience to you at your house, this is what it means. When we say we bring experience to you at your doorstep. So when it comes to actually gaining experience or working as a tier 2 cybersecurity analyst, you need lots of experience. Now, this is where it lies. This is a tool called Spectre. So you can access it on demand, solve real life scenario, updated threats. So that it's not just stock is cheap. You're seeing the technology, you're seeing it live. So we move to the next question. So let's tweak it a bit. So as he's talking about it, I'm demonstrating the technology. So Mr. Ron, I want you to actually dwell on the types of hands-on experience and practical exercises included in this program. Want you to go a little deep on it.
No, when it goes into what we're going to be training, that's the expertise. That's not my expertise.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'll actually answer that when I'm actually doing a proper display, presentation. Please, can you share success stories across the globe, excluding Nigeria? We own Nigeria. Share success stories across the
Well,
globe about this training.
yes, yes. Well, first of all, as I said, we're averaging at least 95% success for people that finish our training, that get jobs. Singapore is averaging 100%. India, I think, is like 98%. So basically, if you do our training and you finish our training, the job market is totally open for you. Not only is it open for you, that many companies they know about us. So all of our branches around the world, we already have companies which are looking for potential employees. So even when you start, they're already scouting, they're already sniffing around saying, we need them. Just to give you an example, in the US alone, 1 million pen testers are needed. So you can see that the need is huge, and the need is growing continuously. If you noticed in the market, there's continuously different hacks happening. There's major hacks happening in banks, there's major hacks happening in media. Across the board this week, there was a huge hack that happened and put down almost all the
Airports.
airports, hotels around the world. And I know it because I was given the information and people call me up and say, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And so these things happen continuously. And we, as a company, already have information on how to protect for these specific things which are happening. And our success is down to one thing, or two things I can say. One, you find a position, you grow, and you grow fast. And when you get in a position from us, because our name is well known, and when the employers look up and they look and they see Think Cyber, they know that you're coming from a very strong background. The minute your base is very strong, the sky's the limit. And you're learning enough so that you can go in many, many different directions. You're not held up and saying, okay, you can only do pen tests. You're given a wide range as a base, and that lets you grow in many, many directions. And we have people that have become, in not a long time, in very few short years, they become directors of organizations in response to cyber, very, very high level positions. And they all started from Think Cyber.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ron, for that particular answer. I would just like to talk about the Nigerian terrain. I would like to show you something. We want to make it as practical and compelling as possible. So if you have been following our post on LinkedIn, we did an event recently. Now, for you to actually achieve 100% job success rate, you have to be fully integrated into the industry here in Nigeria. So we had this event where we are actually doing what? Integrating into the association committees of CISOs in Nigeria for the financial sector. I'm trying to actually bring up the banner. So such events will keep on going. This was an event we had. This is the one. Season 2 is coming up next year. Now, as you can see, this is the current chairman of all the chief information security officers in Nigeria. Now, this is what the COO of the fintechs. And now, the fintech is actually the biggest community of cybersecurity currently in Nigeria for both the commercial banks and the deposit banks. You understand? So Aogu was here. He's currently the CISO of is the CISO of Hydrogen Pay. If you know this guy very well, this Daniv Ovid, the guy working reports to him. So that I'm just trying to tell you that you have to be in an ecosystem. Every industry has an ecosystem. Now you have to have a voice in the ecosystem so that people you are training, you understand the demanding. So when we are saying that we actually do sentiment analysis around an ecosystem and look at the quality of manpower, we train people and put in there. That's the problem they actually currently have within the ecosystem. So we know the quality of manpower. So one sensitive thing Ron said was that you have the capability to move around from one level of, from one job job description for another job description. This is the first time in the training in Africa where we are empowering cohorts with a three-way capability. That we have people we have trained, they're either working as threat analysts, we have people we have trained, they're working as pen testers, there are people who have trained, they're working as incident response people. But now in this particular training, you have all those capabilities to work in all those particular stuff. Those track. That is actually why we are carefully, I want to be as Nigerian as possible, because so that you can understand, even with the bulwarks, when we started this training, we benchmark our salary at $1,500. For those following this series, the first guy that came first, I can remember I went to one MSSP, we turned down the salary. We turned down the salary. Why? Because it was not up to what we were looking to. By the time we now study the terrain, we now say, okay, this is what is applicable. However, you can actually build a fast pace out of this country. We've seen guys who, when you say when they tell you, some people just left the bank. I'm not sure they left one bank for one bank. They left the bank for another country. That is what it means, because within the bank, you will get enough experience. They are the center of attack. So if you are a guy who is just building a career, that's where you actually grow from. So we move to the next question. For guys who are just joining in, I have with me here Mr. Ron Buskela. He's the president of Think Cyber Nigeria International Partnership. We're actually looking together, building a fast-paced career in cybersecurity. We're not talking for just the talk's sake. Anything we say, we back it up with evidence. He has talked about real-life scenarios. I've showed the tool called Specto that is used to acquire expertise on demand. So from time to time, we actually disabled it because you must be able to actually do what? Control, containerize the viruses, because you deal with virus. Just like a doctor working, you have to deal with dead bodies, understand how cadaver works. So here, you have to master how to use, you have to contain all those stuffs. You get used to all those stuff, handling real life data, real life logs, real life, you see all those stuff being handled as we go. Now, we move to the next question. Building a career in cybersecurity. We've talked about what makes our technology different. We'll talk about success stories across the globe. Now, in terms of success stories, we have a couple of our cohorts working in the bank, working in the MSSP, but this set, we want to actually expand the territory. That is why we are actively engaging the industry, organizing seminars, webinars, where they come out and talk about how we can with synergy, continuously supply a pipeline of what? Competent and superior cybersecurity professionals to the industry tech space within Nigeria and Africa. Now we move to the next part of the question. Ron, what exactly are the key skills, key knowledge areas that are essential for building a successful career in cybersecurity?
The want to learn. That's the most important thing. You have to want to learn.
Okay.
You don't have to come with almost any prerequisites. If you have tech background, that's fantastic. But if you don't have to have it. We teach you the fundamentals where you can come from. We have people that come from different industries. They join us and they become cyber experts. We have people that come from the retail industry. We have people that come from industries that have no technology connected to it whatsoever, and they become successful. What is important here, because we teach the fundamentals, we teach the basics. What is important is to want to study, to do the studies, to learn, to pass the exams, to pass the scenarios. There's no free lunch here. If you do not pass, you will fail. But if you do what you're supposed to, you will pass. We will make sure and help you pass, but you have to pass. It's not where I paid it and that's it and it's done, because our name is very well known in the world, and we are not going to risk our name having someone go out there that doesn't know what they're doing. So we're going to help you, and we're going to hold your hand one by one. And if you have help, you can ask anytime you want, and we will help you. We have professionals that will help. ICOM is one of them, and we have others.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ron. I will actually drive the. We have Grace Adimefe. She has not been to this session. She actually read English. And one of the questions she asked when we were advertising was, does this stuff contain mathematics? Now, but during the sessions we're talking, I saw passion in her. I told her, you can come in. Let's see. Now, she actually had that same passion all through the training. She was an English teacher, not from, she did not read computer science. Now, we had guys who did computer science. We had guys like Oyatoye, who did his master's in South Africa, and a scholar, a MasterCard scholar. We had Arinze too, who was a MasterCard scholar. Now, we had guys who are managers who are away. But that lady with English passion, reading, you understand, asking questions, spend time, she went ahead to the interview to actually bench guys who actually did what? Read tech, all from the training. I'm sure you would have seen her video. She's currently a senior threat analyst for one of the banks. And she was very happy the day she actually got a job. So I can go on and on that part. Now, what we're looking at for this particular training session are what guys who are actually, you come out with penetration testing knowledge, SOC analysis, that includes threat analysis and incident response and Windows forensics. So it's a whole large of chunk for mid-entry level position. The only thing not there is malware analysis, which you actually will learn on the job, at least for somebody coming in. So what we told you as take-home salary is actually below the reality. It's below the reality. We just don't want to overblow it. The first benchmark of our salary was $8,500. That should be about 2 million currently. That's what they pay for international jobs across Africa. But since we don't have that connect and spread, we're limiting it to Nigeria and what the banks pay currently. That is why we're telling you that. Now we move to the next question, which is, let's talk about salary ranges and how you can actually build, because we spent a lot of time, salary ranges and how you can build a long-term career. Now, these people we're talking to are actually guys who are currently, the audience we have currently today, they're currently working somewhere. Now, and for them, I don't think a mid-career switch is actually it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Meaning, they're looking at, if I come into cybersecurity this year, in the next 5 years, where will I be? Will I be fully established and settled? Even if I'm starting with, I spoke to someone who says currently has about 1.something million. Now, you understand, they're looking at a career path that is very stable. You understand? Moving forward, future-proof career that 10 years from today, they can be acing $60,000, $70,000 annually, $80,000 annually. Can you talk about global trends of salary and what is the future trend like in cybersecurity?
Okay. I just, I knew this question was going to come up, so I did a little bit of research. And because a major part of my time, I actually do live in Israel, where Think Cyber headquarters is. I looked at today, what is an entry person who studied cyber earns? And I calculated, I changed it from our local currency to dollars. And at the low end, it's 4,000 US dollars per month. That means it's about $50,000 US per year. That is entry level. In our currency, it's called 10,000 shekels. And you divide it by approximately 3 point something, let's say 4, it comes out to 2,500. Wait a second. Wait, I made a mistake. 1 second. 3,000, 3 times 4 is 12. Yeah, it comes, yeah, it is. 1 second. Let me just make sure I didn't make a mistake. Yeah, okay, yeah, 4,000. Yeah, so it's about $4,000 per month, which times 12 would be 48,000. That is entry level. Very fast, after a year or two, it jumps up every year. Because what happens is there's such a high need that the minute you start getting more experience, if your employer does not give you more, you go to another job. And the amount of jobs that are available, it's not like if you left your job, you wouldn't find another job, you would probably find a job very quickly, because the market, there's a glut. There's an empty, there's a hole, there's a giant hole for this. So as I said, entry level. Hello, there's someone interfering. Entry level in Israel or in Europe would be about $4,000 to $5,000 per month and up.
Okay, I know here in Nigeria, most people would think it's just, I will just show you here. And like I said, I want to be as practical as enough. So from now, you know, for first 2 weeks, we're just talking, I will go a little bit deep. I'll go deep so that you can see now, so that you can see in practical how Okpenime Oniagbi actually works for Wazoo. He started his career now, not from the place you are starting. He started as an intern. I will show you his profile on LinkedIn. He has been here with us and actually talked. So you see what he actually hangs more than that currently in Finland. He works remotely. I don't know Okpenime before. I was actually trying to solve some technical issues. He was one who responded to me on their engineering platform. So that's how we got to know each other. He's actually one of our resource personnel. Now, so that you can see career paths in reality and how people actually grow. He started from CyberSoc. Now we work hand in hand with CyberSoc. We actually they're one of the biggest cybersecurity managed cybersecurity service platform across Africa. So I just want to, like I said, I want to be practical so that as you're taking decision, you understand that it is doable, it's achievable. So Okpenime started as an intern in CyberSoc Africa. So from there, he moved to the bank. This is Fidelity Bank, as you can see. He worked for Wazoo. So by the time you start knowing infrastructure vendors, you know that Wazoo is actually one of the most used currently. Imagine, well, cybersecurity is actually vendor agnostic. You can see he started here. This CyberSoc Africa. All this information security specialists. So it's from here, he started building world-class experience. He moved into Keystone Bank, Fidelity Bank, then is now with Wazoo. The salary is about that amount. It's not much. It's in euros. Euros is more than dollars. We're approaching 4,000 euros. We have a video of him talking about it. He actually came to a session with us last year. But Wazoo has a lot of experience. He's pretty busy with operation. But when you actually get to the Titan session, I'm sure you have a date with Okpenime. Now, there are tons of them like that we can use as practical example. Now, that's why I said it is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Now, but where you start matters a lot. The foundation of the knowledge matters a lot. So CyberSoc Africa use our own infrastructure for training their customers. They're one of the biggest. So if you go ask questions, a lot of people have been asking me questions, but I didn't want to answer questions on the phone. I want to answer questions talking, displaying, demonstrating. That's what we do here. Cybersecurity is not debate. When the Nigerian government is better than South African government or Israeli government. It's command technique tools. The guy has attacked you, you must understand what it means to react immediately. So it's not debate. It's practical demonstration of expertise, skills, ability to talk about it in the front of, in the face of interview, ability to understand what to know. That is why I think I will share the video with the CISO of the fintech company. Talked about a scenario where they had where an hacker went to actually put a flip on the ATM and the camera. People were coming, and as you are inserting your ATM card, he's actually taking the camera and pulling the money remotely. So these things happen. It's hackers who do it. That's in Nigeria. I'm not talking about abroad. So they had to start monitoring. But we're talking about the use of AI in incident response. So that's how that question came about. So here, what we have is what? Technology. And these salaries are what? Achievable, irrespective of the economic situation in Nigeria. You can build from there. The foundation is international. The lintel, the first floor, second floor, third floor can never be local. The foundation is what matters. So the foundation we are giving you, it scales globally. You understand? So whatever you're building on it, so you get a job with the bank, you get a job with another bank, you understand? They know that Nigeria is one of the biggest fintech. We have about 200 million. The level of transactions that go on is a lot of what? It's a lot of transaction, and attackers are always here. Likewise, the mobile telecoms. I came from mobile telecoms. Nigeria has one of the most sophisticated mobile telecoms in the world, simply because of our population. A lot of people are making calls. So there is always what? Congestion, there's incidences. So people learn from that what? Profession. Unfortunately, telecoms is a vendor-specific profession. So some Chinese vendor, I don't want to mention their name, has actually dominated telecoms across most parts of Africa. So no matter where you go to, they actually control salary. However, cybersecurity is a vendor agnostic. The vendor in America mostly is Splunk. It's different from the vendor in UK. Most a lot of people use Splunk. I even different vendors come up every day. So as you move to tier 3, we are coming about tier 2 now. As you move to tier 3, so you're no longer talking about expertise. You are now looking at multi-vendor capacity. You now have all the expertise across all the board. Now you now, okay, this is how Splunk does, this is how Elasticsearch does, this is how Wazoo does, this is how this does. So you can now start consulting. And if I want to actually create a firewall, should it be PFSense? Should it be Sentinel? Should it be this? Should it be that? Okay, in my network architecture, should I use Stuffings? Should I use, so you will meet different vendors, but what the foundation, when it is very strong, it gives you the capability to transcend from one place to the other. So we move to the last question. I've been a little bit I've been a little bit conservative. It's because we really want to know who is interested, and people don't know that if it's a mid-entry level, you cannot learn it in one day. There's nothing I can tell you here. It's scratch. You have to, the foundation gives you the capability to drive. I wish we can play back the video of all those guys we bring in. We don't know them before. They were just like you. They came for the training. They moved from being prospects to cohort, from cohorts being to brothers, from brothers being to friends, from friends to colleagues. So if the training was not very good to them, they will not honor our invitation. We don't owe them anything anymore. So I'll move to the next question, Ron, please. Just the last one. And for the final thoughts, is there anything else you'd like to share with our cohort about Think Cyber training and building a career in cybersecurity?
Yes, it's up to you. Nobody can stop you. It's up to you. The sky's the limit. This is an industry where really there's no barriers to entry. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, where you're born, where you grow. It doesn't matter. This is an industry where knowledge rules. Knowledge rules. The more you understand, the more you know. And it doesn't matter where you are, where you grow up, because the world needs you. The world needs you. As I said, I always go back to America because I live in 2 countries. I actually live both in the United States and in Israel. So I'm familiar with both markets. And I always say, just in the United States, 1 million pen testers are needed. So could you imagine what it is globally? Everywhere. I'm familiar with many, many markets in Africa. Every country needs them. Anywhere from government to industry to companies, everybody. You cannot tell me a company that can say, "Oh, we don't have it." If they don't have it, they'll need a SOC. They need some type of security. And we are the what do I say? We are the anchor for your future. Because who you study with in the beginning to get the anchor, to get the base, is going to make a difference if you're going to go from 0 to 100 or 0 to 10. Because when you get out and you're worth more because you have a strong anchor, that's it. There's a lot of other companies that do what we do. Not on our level, not the level of scenarios. They don't have as good a name as they have. But I can guarantee you one thing. When you study with us, and you do, and I say it again, you have to do the work, you have to do the studies, you have to learn. This is not I pay and I get a job. It doesn't work that way. But if you do what you're supposed to, you will be successful. You will be successful. There's nothing to stop you because we have proven it. I'm telling you, Singapore, 100%, India, 90-something%. And the only person that didn't get in India was, I don't know, because the childbirth or something. It wasn't because they weren't accepted for the job. But when you talk 100%, that means that there's something that's available for you here. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to give you the knowledge. And one other thing is, knowledge is power, and knowledge, once you get it, is yours. Nobody can take it from you. You know, and I always laugh that in the world of cyber, everybody gets degrees. 4 letters here, 4 letters here, 4 letters here. Everybody's got 4 letters. They get 24 letters going down. You know, they have 20 degrees with 4 letters. We don't believe in the 4 letters. We believe in you learning, you knowing what you're doing. When you're going to an interview and they ask you the questions and you know what you're talking about, that's worth more than having all these degrees that people do, get a bunch of letters and they don't know what they're talking about. And I've seen it to myself. I've been in interviews like a fly on the wall, and I've watched interviews where we have our person and I've seen others and we shine. Why? Because the people know what they're talking about. And the other side, the interviewers, know very quickly if you're a smokescreen or you're telling the truth, and you know what you're talking about. So the only thing I can say is, if you really want a career in cybersecurity, you're definitely at the right place, and it's all up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. If you put your mind to it and you join us, you will have success. And the only thing I can say is, we have the proof. Will you have success? I can't give you 100%, but if we're batting 100%, chances are you will also be one of those 100%. And that's why I like to come on these calls, because I feel great by saying it, because we prove it. I don't have to say, well, I think, I know, I might. We have proof. We are batting close to 100%. As I said, 90-something%, and places 100%. And if you join us, you will also be successful. And that's why I like doing these calls. And I'd like to pass it back to Ike.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rombuskela. Thanks for actually attending this session. We'll be taking questions after now. We'll be taking questions after the session with Mr. Abioye Oyatoye. Please just hold your question, because he's just in for a brief 10 minutes. He's one of our alumni. He's jumping out to autonomy. We normally steal them away from workplace. Mr. Abioye Oyatoye, please, can you confirm if you're there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Good evening. Good evening, and thanks for actually making our time to be here with us. Just a brief one. Can you just introduce yourself and your background before you actually came for Think Cyber training?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Abioye Oyatoye, and before now, I have no experience at all in the IT sphere at all. So my background, I did aquaculture and fisheries management. That's my BSc, and my master's was in South Africa, where I did marine ecology, specifically as an ecologist. But before now, I've been doing series of data analysis, and those are one of those things that have gotten me acquainted with coding. So I've used SPSS, I've used R, I've used Python for coding. So before now, so what really brought me into cybersecurity was there was a particular time that I had an attack on my system. What really happened then was there was a clipboard hijack on my phone, on my system. What happened was I copied a Bitcoin address, and I wanted to paste it because I want to do a transaction there, but I was still in South Africa. So when I copied it and I pasted it on a particular platform where I want to use it, I noticed that the address changed totally. That was the first thing that caught my awareness. Okay, I copied it again, tried another platform. I noticed it changed. I was like, what's happening? So that made me went the route to, okay, let me do research, what is happening. That was when I get to know there's a clipboard hijack. So, and I saw one video then that showed me how you can do it. So what I just did was just go to my tax manager, look at my processes, look at what is abnormal there, then I just yank it off. And when I yank it off, I tried it again. I noticed everything is normal. Then that's when I started thinking. Now I've been doing data science. Now I'm having this. So what is the essence of analyzing data when you can't protect it? So that was where it comes from. Before I was opportune to have to join the seminar with Think Cyber. Then after that, everything was history.
Okay, just for the starters, he works with an MSSP. I don't know if you wanted to talk about the company you work for currently. So how would you describe your experience during the Think Cyber training?
Okay, my experience during the Think Cyber training, I would say it gave me the head start, because I have no idea about cybersecurity. I have not done anything related to cybersecurity or anything. So Think Cyber gave me the head start, and I think every foundation that I have in cybersecurity was from Think Cyber. But one thing we shouldn't forget is if you are a kind of person that wants to dedicate the whole of your life to learn, cybersecurity is where you should be, because it's one of those traits that I carry. Like, I feel like it makes meaning and sense when you keep learning. When cybersecurity, you keep touching depth, and the depth keeps, how would I say, changing every time. So Think Cyber gave me the head start, and it was wonderful. My experience was great. And ever since then, I haven't stopped learning because you have to keep learning. Just like Ron has said, in cybersecurity, sometimes it's about you yourself too. It's not about they will give you everything you need, but if you can take that, work with it, build on it, the sky is a starting point. That's what I can say.
Okay, because we're trying to be brief so that we can manage your time properly. Can you talk about a specific scenario in the cyber training that actually helped you, that was actually a strong one, that you actually took a challenge? Any specific scenario you can remember, not the scenarios you took?
If my memory is not failing me, there was a particular one that I think is very significant and up to date too. So scenarios like that, you actually continually meet them in the journey of So I will talk. I think there was a particular one where we needed to do OSINT, which is open source, and collect information, and we use that information to SSH to a remote server. Yeah, I don't know, Mr. Mike, if I can remember very well, there's a
Yeah,
particular one.
you are in line. You are in line. Feel free to talk. Feel free to talk.
Yeah. So there's a particular one where we did that, and we needed to do one or two things, just like the city of capture the flag. We do one or two things to gather the information, which is the password and the username of the remote host you want to log in. Then we SSH in there and start. And I think I think maybe that particular scenario also we needed to uncover hidden files. If you are not told, you don't know. But ideally, you should know that in cybersecurity, you should expect everything. You should expect everything. Because when you save a file with dot dash, dot stuff, they are hidden. So if you don't check properly, if you are just like anyone else that will just look at, okay, what do I have in my directory? You see that, oh, everything is okay, but it's not really okay. That's the essence of cybersecurity. Yeah. I think, yeah, that was one of it.
Okay. Now let's get to the job. What are the skills that actually got you into the job that make you hit the ground running from the first day?
Because generally, penetration testing is what I focus more on and we did. And all of the skills I've gotten there so far, I've been using them. I have been, when it comes to enumeration, every stages of penetration testing, I've been using them. And coupled with the fact that I have some ideas in coding and all of that before. So aside the normal cybersecurity stuff that I built internal tools for usage in my organization. And all of this come from the idea of cybersecurity training that I have, because ability now, one thing I would say is whatever knowledge or whatever this thing you have anywhere before in any subject, it matters in cybersecurity because cybersecurity encompasses everything. So your logic, your thinking, your coding, everything is needed.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Lastly, please, do you have a word for our cohorts here in terms of your pre, during, and post experience in cybersecurity? Do you have a word for them?
Okay. So during, because I'm pretty sure this is the present and you guys are in training now. So my word of advice for you is take everything serious and take it a step further. Whatever you are learning, always know that everything is a building block. The foundation really matters. So whatever you are learning, take it very serious because it is the foundation that determines how far you go. It's just like a building. Once your foundation is not solid enough, once it's not concrete enough, forget whatever you want to build upon it. So this foundation you are getting, please take it and work with it wholeheartedly because it really matters. And I don't want to scare you. There's still more to learn, seriously. But what you get with Team Cyber, yeah, superb. And post. So during, learn, post, keep learning, keep improving. And every other thing like I said before, like I've said earlier, they are really very important because cybersecurity encompasses everything. I'm pretty sure Mr. Mike, if my this thing is not, if my memory is not failing me, Bob suits, we work with Bob suit then. Yeah, very well. So we'll be doing that because once you get into an organization, sometimes you might just be tasked to do the internal penetration testing, and sometimes you might need to be doing external. And when you talk about external, you start looking at, okay, how can you get into other organization, look at their vulnerability right from the outside. And how do you do that? It's all about what they are sending in and what they are sending out to start to look at it. And Bob Suite helps you to intercept things like that, do analysis, okay, what and what is not in place, what and what can I change, what and what can I alter to be able to get foothold into those, because that is what penetration testing is all about, looking for the weakness, deploying a payload and exploiting it. So one thing I forget again, the part of creating payloads using meta-exploitative and all of that. It was solid during my time in Team 7. It was great.
Okay, all right. The last question we normally ask is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, first of all, in terms of knowledge, I will have advanced myself so much because I still work every day. I learn every day. And thank God to the network. So it will be great. Thank God. I think you guys are even much more than my cohorts. My cohorts will still talk, will still chat. So hold on to your network. Your network is your network. Because sometimes where you can't get to at a particular time, they might be there and be the one to pull you. And you guys can share resources. You can share them. Okay, this is how far. And okay, one solid thing, please, documentation is very important. Documentation is very important. Because in cybersecurity, the knowledge is wide, broad, very big, and it's huge. What you learned 3 months ago, you can forget it today. I can even tell you for facts that all of what, I don't know the level you guys are. Most of some of what you learned in another level, you can't remember them now. It is not your fault. It is normal. Our brain at a particular time, once you are not concentrating on things again, they go to I think they go back to the shelf. But the fact is, if you have done those things before and you did them diligently to understand them, whenever you are doing them again, it is not really a problem. Because your brain starts telling you, okay, start creating the dots, connecting the dots again, connecting, okay, this is how it goes. But for me, what was recommended, for me, everything I learned since is still in my notes. But I don't share notes. I'm sorry. You have to create yours too. That's just a joke, by the way. Yeah. So please, your documentation should be. And I think in the next 5 years, I will be working in a bigger and better place. Possibly, I'm even very sure I wouldn't be in the shore of these countries again. That is very certain.
Okay, that corroborates what we said all true. And thank you, Mr. Bioye and Oyatoye, for actually coming. You see that the adrenaline in his blood is very hot. If you've been following the series of people that we have been bringing in, you notice that the adrenaline in his blood is very hot, and that's how he came into the training and he was able to achieve where he is today. We are rooting for you. We love you. All the best. And thank you very much for coming around. So we'll be
thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thank you all. So we'll be moving on to Mrs. Mary Jane currently. We'll be moving on to Mrs. Mary Jane currently. And Mrs. Mary Jane, please, if you are here, just let me know. Hello, Mrs. Mary Jane, are you here? Mrs. Mary Jane, are you here? Okay, let's start taking questions. Let's just move straight to question and answer sessions so that we can actually take question and answer session. Please, do we have anybody with a question or something?
Yes, I have a question. Hello.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I can hear you. You can go.
Hi, hello everyone.
Ahead.
So my question, right, thank you. So my question is just 2 questions. So firstly, how can someone join the Think Cyber Nigeria? like if you want to join the academy or training, how can you proceed? And also, my second question would be, does the training cover the certifications? I mean, like the CZIM, CISA, ISO 27000, all of those certifications, does the training cover them? The training go deep into all of those certifications and all of those primary knowledge? Just my question. Thank you.
Okay, ISC certification. Okay, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. Now what we do here, if you want to join, we'll send you an offer letter after now. It actually covers the cost of the training, which is $1,500. Now you'll be taking, like, the training is designed for 0 to hero. Now the guy who just left, actually, you hear him talk about penetration testing. Now we started, they actually stopped at penetration testing. We call their training basic entry level. Now this is an advanced entry level training. The first time we're doing it in this part of the world for the cohorts. Now you're going to take 7 programs: Introduction to Cyber, Linux Fundamentals, Python Fundamentals, Network Research, Penetration Testing, SOC analysis, then Windows Forensics. Now, it puts you on 3 tracks on cybersecurity, 3 tracks, 3 different tracks on cybersecurity. That's what it puts you on. 3 different tracks on cybersecurity. So now, at that track, you actually have multi-capability to actually work as a tier 2 personnel. Now, in terms of CISM, CISA, and ISC, you can actually start those certifications when you get to the industry. Now, basically, what we do here is we actually give you what we do here. It's we actually, hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was muted. Sorry, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Now, so what we do here is get you into the industry. Now, we give you our own certification: Think Cyber Certified Penetration Tester, Think Cyber Certified SOC Analyst, and Think Cyber Certified Windows Forensic. Now, CISA is more of the accounting, and CISM. Now, all those certifications can be written when you are now in the industry. There are other certifications. I think most people not in cybersecurity actually know. They talk about this as CISSP and ethical hacker. There are other vendor-driven certification that you need to actually cross the border. Like if you're talking about ethical hacking and CISSP, it's more covered. It's not it's just this part of the world. Now, when you get to America, they'll be asking for Splunk. They are vendor specific. Now, because that's what most of the companies around here use, they expect you that an experience there will get you a better job. Yeah, and an experience there will get you a better job. Now they ask for Splunk, they ask for other certifications. Now, if you are joining me earlier, cybersecurity is actually vendor specific. No, sorry, vendor agnostic, not vendor specific. It's vendor agnostic, not vendor specific. So they ask for all those different vendors training capability. Now, it's when you are actually inside now, like somebody who does penetration testing over and over again. The next thing you'll be looking at is what? Offensive Security Certified Professional, OSCP. Now, at that point in time, you cannot tell you want to do ethical hacker. Now, if you are a SOC analyst or you work in the SOC, there are tons of SOC infrastructure. You can only write what the vendor you are using. Maybe your MSSP is using Wazoo. So certification in Wazoo or Greylog will make sense at that point. You understand? So we don't cover all those certifications in our own training. Now, we expect that when you actually take our training, you get into the job, your own company, even some companies tell you, write 1 certification in 3 months for those who actually were here last week.
How are you?
Hello, yeah, write 1 certification in 3 months. Write 1 certification in 3 months. So some companies actually actually ask you that. It tells you write one certification in 3 months, write one certification in 3 months, write one certification in 3 months, write one. So that is actually basically what some companies do. So all those CISA, ISC2, there are tons of free certifications, APSEC, tons of them like that you can write as they come out. So all they do is get you what? They keep your skill burning before you get into the system. So I think I've answered your question. So go for industry-driven track, not certifications that are not tied to any vendor at this stage will not get you anywhere. I have a friend who actually, I think he worked in the bank for a while. I think he has this CISA and CISS. But when you ask him about cybersecurity, he really doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't know anything about it. You understand? Because those things are not core on the foundation of to build technical capabilities. Now, you have, I don't know if they're still in Nigeria, though, but those days, you've had CISOs who are actually not what? CISOs who are not what? Not, CISOs who are not IT core cybersecurity professional capability. They only understand the managerial part. They don't actually understand the core aspect of cybersecurity. Do you understand? From technical point of view. So I don't know if these questions actually, if I've answered your question, you understand, or maybe I'm sure I've answered.
You've answered it perfectly. You've answered it perfectly, sir.
So please, do we have any other question? Do we have any other question?
Good afternoon. Good evening,
Yeah.
brother.
Good evening.
For the trainings, I know you mentioned that it's on a quad based. How many quads do you usually take per year? And what is the time, or what is the period where each of the quads starts?
Okay, we are starting this cohort in August 26th, almost a month from today. Now, the next cohort should be starting in January. But I'm not actually sure that will start by January, but we want to start this, then run there. It will start from January, either January to March. The next cohort would start. So we plan on doing 2 in a year.
Okay, thanks.
So do we have any other question?
Good afternoon or good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, please, I want to ask. I've seen this course for a master's course. Some universities abroad who offer cybersecurity. Cybersecurity in the masters, for masters. So I want